You're afraid of bedtime stories." Counselor Vass grinned, his 6 jaws curled in amused scorn as he waved away the transmission. The holographic war table flickered, showing a swirl of meaningless static and one blinking red signal from an uncharted system deep beyond the ion curtain dot sector, Theta Black 3. "It's a false ping," he said, glancing at his aides. "No species has ever returned from that region. It's just radiation echoes." "No," replied Commander Alphys from the far end of the chamber. "It's not radiation. It's a language protocol. Human base code." Vass barked a dry laugh. "Humans are a myth." Alphys didn't laugh. "Then explain the ships." The room quieted. 4 patrols. Gone. No explosion markers. No debris. Just ... gone. Vass waved a claw. "Coincidence." "Faulty nav drift. They flew into something ancient." "Maybe." "No, because the last ship's on a log," Alphys cut in, voice colder now. One line, repeating. He tapped the console. The room filled with a faint, ragged audio feed, corrupted and looping. ... Not dead. Not gone ... They're watching. They're still ... watching ... Then a harsh digital pulse. Then silence. In orbit over Theta Black 3. A shadow moved. Not sleek. Not elegant. No galactic markings. No transponder. Just hull plating so black it swallowed starlight, pulsing with dull red veins of heat, like it had been forged in the heart of a dying sun. It wasn't alone. 3 more ships drifted beside it, silent. Predator-shaped? Massive. Their engines didn't hum. They waited. As if they hadn't just arrived. Woken up. On the bridge of the Devour-class cruiser Zellner, Admiral Curran of the rogue Trelkin fleet scowled. "We detected no defense grid," he growled, claws twitching. "This sector is unmarked." "Then why are they here?" His helmsman whispered. The screen showed the Terran vessels closing in. No broadcast. No demands. Just one line suddenly appearing on every screen. "Leave," Curran snorted. "Open fire." They did. 10 railgun rounds, 6 plasma torpedoes. 1 gravitic spike. The Terran ships didn't dodge. They didn't activate shields. They absorbed the fire. Then, without recoil, without build-up, they fired back. 1 beam. White - blue. Silent. It split space. And the Trelkin cruiser vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just absence. Counselor Vass received the footage. 2 hours later, he watched it alone. 4 seconds long. 1 Terran ship firing. 1 fleet erased. He didn't blink. He COULDN single quotes T. The end of the feed. Something blinked on the lower corner. A transmission code. Terran base format. Asterisk. "You stopped telling the story. We didn't." Asterisk aid. "Sir? Orders?" Vass spoke without turning. "Call a summit." "On what grounds?" He paused. And then whispered the words no counselor had ever dared say out loud. "Humanity exists." And across 4 sectors, in systems thought. Safe. The stars flickered and stayed that way. They thought the silence was mercy. It wasn't. "You said they were extinct." The scream echoed across the grand chamber of Renzer Prime, thick with heat, fear, and the buzzing silence of 14 alien species suddenly realizing they might not be alone anymore. "Ambassador." Cly's wings quivered behind him as he hissed into the audio relay, his voice high with accusation. "You told us Earth was uninhabitable, that they burned themselves out in war centuries ago." Counselor Vass didn't reply at first. He was watching the feed again, looping it, over and over. The Terran beam didn't flare. It didn't scream. It whispered through hull and alloy like a scalpel through skin. Not rage, just inevitability. "They didn't die," Vass finally muttered. "They waited." Out in deep orbit above the Sindar moons, Patrol Fleet Crest 9 sat motionless. 6 cruisers, 1 dreadnought, a full armament suite. And all of it aimed at a single. On their sensor feed. No ID. No motion. Just a slowly rotating mass with no engine bloom. No life signs. No markings. Except the word SOL stamped in white letters across its prow. It hadn't moved in 2 hours. It didn't need to. Fleet Commander Eric sat motionless in his chair, breath shallow, voice lower than a whisper. Attempt. Contact again. The comms officer swallowed hard. Sir, it won't respond. Then make it. The officer nodded, hands trembling. Unknown vessel. You are trespassing in Council-protected space. Respond immediately. Silence. Then, 5 seconds later, a reply. Not voice, not code, a pulse, a single. Radiation burst, crude, ancient. It translated to only 2 words. Still watching. Commander Eric stood. Raise shields, prep main guns. One officer muttered, Sir, if it hasn't attacked, maybe. Do you want to end up like the Trulcan fleet? The bridge went silent. Then dashed the Terran. Ship turned. Slowly. Without sound, and pointed directly at them. Back in the Grand Chamber, Kyer burst in, claws scraping across marble floor. Confirmed update. Patrol Fleet Crest 9 is gone. Everyone stared. No debris. No explosion. They didn't even have time to log departure vectors. Vass turned slowly, voice a rasp now. They're not using weapons. They're using absence. What does that mean? Clyde demanded. It means they're not fighting wars, Vass whispered. They're ending them before they begin. Aboard. The Terran vessel Gideon's Wake. No crew stirred, because there was none. The ship's AI designation. Rurik operated alone. Its directives were simple. Await reactivation of Terran diplomatic protocol. Do not fire unless attacked. If attacked, remove threat, leave no echo. Rurik didn't see enemies, only patterns, repeated histories, broken promises, warnings ignored. It was built to answer the moment peace became a rumor. In the back channel of Earth's Deep Systems Archive. One conversation sparked to life. Encrypted. Old. Accessed only twice in 50 years. Feline Rain. They've seen us. Terran High Command. Then they'll remember what they forgot. Feline Rain. They're already trying to talk. Terran High Command. No one listened when we begged. Let them understand what silence can cost. The next Council fleet. To approach Earth space didn't arrive in force. They came unarmed. Just one ship. Lights on. Beacons. Broadcasting one phrase. We seek parley. And from the black the Terran warship responded, not with fire, but with movement. It opened. The hull split, a corridor extended. Not a trap. An invitation. But inside, no one waited, just walls scorched with old names, systems Earth had once tried. To help. Dates. Massacres. Treaty betrayals. And one final line written in Terran script above the door to the command chamber. We asked nicely. Fleet Captain Juro of the Council Envoy stepped through that door and into the darkness. He expected guns. He found memories. Console lit. A message played. You mistook our myths for warnings. They were regrets. You assumed silence meant absence. It meant restraint. You believed we died in war. We died in disappointment. Then the room went dark again, and Juro understood. Back in the chamber, Counselor Vass faced the assembly. He didn't speak like a statesman now. He spoke like someone reciting a eulogy. Do not ask for Earth to stand down. Do not demand they explain. Do not tell them to disarm. He turned toward the screen where the silhouette of a Terran dreadnought drifted beside the wreckage of a pirate fleet Earth didn't even acknowledge. Just hope they choose to stop watching. Aid. Sir, what if we send reparations? Vass shook his head. You don't pay off silence. In deep Earth space, inside a chamber buried beneath the Antarctic crust, a small device blinked green. A voice whispered from the dark, 3 fleets gone. 1 envoy survived. They're learning. Maybe that's enough. Because humans didn't return with rage. They returned with a ledger. Record of every unanswered cry for help. Every time they screamed into the void and the galaxy laughed. Now? The galaxy was silent. And Earth was still listening. Counselor Vex stared at the message for a long time. We asked nicely. The phrase glowed like a wound reopened. There was no timestamp, no source trace. But they all knew where it came from. The Terran ship hadn't fired, hadn't jammed signals, hadn't responded to the latest delegation request. It just left the wreckage behind. A mining guild found the Council's Black Ops cruiser Ferrothor. What was left of it floating near an asteroid cluster. No atmosphere, no crew, no hull integrity. And in the ship's main comm room, scrawled in melted alloy. This was us being polite. At the edge of Council space, exiled diplomat Kale Sorix prepared his shuttle for launch. He was no fool. He'd watched from the shadows as Earth's name went from superstition to headline. He remembered being in the chamber when Varna was ignored. When Earth's last envoy begged for assistance decades ago and was met with smirks. He didn't smirk now. He just packed his translator core and one old Terran artifact, a cloth patch with Earth's flag faded, burned at the edges. A keepsake from a time when Earth still tried to be part of the galactic community. He had one goal, not to apologize. To understand. The TSS. Marrow didn't appear on any active chart. It didn't transmit. It didn't request clearance. But Kale's shuttle found it anyway, because it found him. No beacons. No escort. Just presence. He approached slowly, every system powered down except life support. And when the outer hull opened, letting him dock, he stepped into the silence of history. Inside. No crew. Just cold corridors. Dull red lights pulsing like a heartbeat long forgotten. Kale's translator clicked and hummed as his boots echoed through the halls. He passed names etched into the walls. Eros Station. Orta 2. Callan Fall. Juno Treaty. And below them, scratched in Terran glyphs. We sent warnings. He reached the central console. It activated without prompt. A figure flickered into view. Holographic. Not military. Not a general. Just a woman. Middle-aged, plain uniform. Kind eyes. A recorded message. If you're seeing this, you're not our enemy, or at least, you're trying not to be. We begged for help, for unity, for acknowledgement, not because we were weak, but because we knew what would happen if we stopped asking. Kale swallowed hard. And now, we've stopped. This ship will not attack unless attacked. But it will not save you either. You burned your bridge. We just let the fire finish what you started. Kale left the ship an hour later. Not escorted. Not detained. Just dismissed. He filed a report. It was ignored. Because no one in the Council wanted to admit what they already knew. Earth wasn't threatening war. They were denying closure. A week later, in Sector 18, a Council convoy entered an uncharted Terran watch zone. They weren't hostile. They sent gifts, medical units, apology letters. A cultural ambassador. Terran systems never fired, but their ships turned. One by one. Face first. And sent back a packet. It contained every treaty Council had broken in the last 100 years. Each page watermarked with the same phrase. We documented everything. Inside Earth's deep network, a new project launched. Not a military initiative, a broadcast, a looped message sent to every neutral species. We are not here to lead. We are not here to dominate. We are here to be remembered. Because The next time someone screams into the dark, we don't want them to feel alone. The broadcast was not answered. Not publicly, but in private. Smaller systems, pirate clans, fractured republics, backworld traders started sending small offerings to Earth's edge zones: food, fuel, artifacts. Regret. No words. Just tokens. Because they understood now. You don't shout at the graveyard. You tend to it. Quietly. Aboard the TSS Graven, one of Earth's oldest AI-controlled sentinels, a new protocol activated. Do not engage. Log who listens. Ignore who doesn't. On Council World Daxira, a riot broke out outside the Embassy of Peace. Why? Because survivors of old Earth colonies had begun demanding truth. They wanted to know what really happened during the Council Earth Accords. They wanted access to files long buried. The Council refused. And Earth? Earth stayed silent. They didn't have to shout anymore. The galaxy had started shouting for them. Counselor Vass, alone in his quarters, watched a fragment of audio from an intercepted Terran scout transmission. A lone voice. If they think we forgot, they're wrong. We remember every silence, and we learned something in the dark. ***, you don't have to fire to win. You just have to endure long enough to be the only one left standing. ***, they asked nicely. Once. Now? Now they just watch. Delete it. All of it. Counselor Dren's voice was sharp, brittle with panic. Purge every diplomatic log. Every failed treaty. Every black file with the Terran signature. I want no record left. His aide blinked. But sir, half the sectors already downloaded the leak. Dren froze. What leak? The aide stepped back. The one from the Juno Vaults. The Juno Vaults were a myth themselves, lost beneath Saturn's shattered moon, sealed when the Arcadia Accords collapsed. Some said the Terrans locked their secrets there. Others said the Council sabotaged the relay grid to stop Earth from broadcasting the truth. Now, someone had rebooted it, and the galaxy was watching. The feed began without fanfare. Slow scroll of planetary names. Each with a date. Each followed by a council directive. Request. Denied. Claim dismissed. Earth response archived, not reviewed. Human loss collateral. Then came the footage. Not war. Not fire. Not victory. Just quiet halls. Terran diplomats calm, pleading. Old women in worn uniforms, speaking of compromise. Men in cracked suits begging to prevent escalation. And finally, the recording everyone felt in their bones. A lone Terran, unnamed, face gaunt, voice calm. He stood in front of a council delegation. 30 years ago, hands folded, back straight. We are not your threat, we are your test. We offer peace. We do not beg for it. But if you make us choose silence, understand what silence becomes when you fill it with enough pain. He paused. You think we're dangerous now. We're still whispering. And then he walked out. That footage was time-stamped 4 days before the Council labeled Earth diplomatically dormant. Not extinct. Not erased. Dormant. The leak went planetary in 3 hours. By hour 6. Systems once allied to the Council were asking Earth for direct communication. They didn't receive responses, but they weren't ignored. Earth satellites opened. Not. Weapons. Memory nodes. Each orbiting AI station broadcast messages on repeat. This is what you didn't see. This is what you chose to ignore. One by one. Every betrayal. Every denied signal. Every distress beacon Earth responded to. Alone. On the former mining world of Trissos 5, where Earth once lost a civilian vessel trying to rescue Council colonists from a methane firestorm, the local populace wept when they saw the recovered data. The Terran ship had landed unarmed, shielded. Children with their own armor pulled civilians from the fire with bare hands, and Council patrols had watched. then logged the event as unsanctioned heroics. Now the galaxy saw the real caption. They burned for strangers who never said thank you. In the ruins of the old Gallic Confederacy, a refugee school began reciting Earth's final envoy. Speech as a daily ritual, not as worship, as reminder. When we screamed, no one came. When you screamed, we came anyway. The council couldn't stop it. The truth didn't need ships, it had voices, survivors, memories, but the moment that changed everything happened on live broadcast. During a council emergency summit. A surprise. Guest. Uninvited. Terrn diplomat Thaleen Rain. She stepped onto the chamber floor without escort, without permission, and without fear. Her hair was streaked gray now. Her suit was patched, faded, but clean. And when she looked into the cameras, she smiled soft, tired, but not bitter. Just done waiting. You erased our warnings. You rewrote our records. And you called us myths. But you forgot something. She held up a data crystal. We kept our own records. The feed switched, hijacked by Earth's net. Across every screen in the chamber, images appeared. A boy pulling his sister through rubble. A medic cradling a dying alien during a council raid. A Terran diplomat handing over medicine while being screamed at. Then the quote. Asterisk, asterisk. They thought we were extinct. We were just done explaining ourselves. Asterisk, asterisk. The chamber fell silent. Counselor Dren tried to speak. Rain cut him off. We won't fire unless you force us. But don't ask for our forgiveness. We asked nicely. And you answered with silence. She turned. Walked out. No applause. Just breathlessness. That day, 4 species dropped from the council charter. Not because Earth threatened them, but because the truth did. Aboard Earth's Sentinel network, the AI known as Orion received new signals. Apologies. Not all genuine, but still. They were coming. One signal stood out. It wasn't from a state, not a government. A single girl. 12 years old. A survivor of a council world disaster. Earth once tried and failed to help. Her message played only once, but every Terran ship received it. You tried. They did in single quotes. Please don't stop being who you were, even if we didn't deserve it. The message was archived. And replayed. Again. And again. In deep space. The warship stayed still, not idle. Just waiting, because the war never needed to start. The truth was the weapon. Now everyone had seen it. Earth never asked for vengeance. Asked for memory. And now, the galaxy remembered. They didn't leave coordinates. They didn't drop flags. They didn't mark territory. The Terran ships simply turned. And vanished. No threat. No broadcast. No promise. Just gone. Leaving behind only silence and the wreckage of everything the council thought was true. 3 days after Thaleen Rain walked out of the Grand Chamber, half the known galaxy held a peace vigil. Not in Earth's name. In their own, because suddenly, everyone wanted to be better than they had been when Earth begged. And failed. On Alaran Station, a former military contractor lit a Terran candle 3 wicks, shaped like the orbital ring of their long dead moon. He stood in front of it with one line, whispered, "We didn't hear them. But we can hear now." On the rim world Droskal, where council warships once executed Earth's merchant allies in the name of balance, the last surviving admiral of the raid broadcast a message to Earth. Live. Open. On his knees. I thought. We were cleansing. I thought we were keeping the peace. I realize now we were bearing shame with paperwork. No reply came, but the recording still circled every council channel. Then came the final signal from Earth itself. Not warships, not AI threats. Just a message. Simple and stark in the old Terran base code. 3 words. Spoken by Thaleen Rain's voice. We forgive none. And yet, they didn't attack. They didn't invade. They didn't destroy. They just kept watching. Galaxy wasn't afraid of war now. They were afraid of why it hadn't happened. Because it meant Earth had already done the math. And chosen not to burn the house down, even though they could. Counselor Vex resigned. He didn't leave a speech, just a note. It was never about force. It was the restraint I couldn't understand. That's what beat us. In a classroom on Varna Prime, children studied the silence standard. Not a constitution. Not a doctrine. Just a list of 10 behaviors Earth exhibited after the Arcadia betrayal. A code written by absence. Help first, even when it's not returned. Speak once. If unheard, record. Save who you can. Bury who you can't. Never demand memory. But never forget. Do not retaliate with fire when silence will scar deeper. Do not forgive without understanding. Walk away louder than you. Arrive. Keep receipts. Do not rewrite history. Let others discover it. Stay ready. At the bottom of the list. They thought we died in war. We died in disappointment. The council tried to restructure, but it didn't matter. Every system now had a new fear. Not of Earth's ships, but of their shadow. The moment when a Terran vessel might appear beside them. Not to shoot. Just to watch, because nothing crushes arrogance like being monitored by someone you called extinct. At a diplomatic summit on Osadel 4, where species gathered to draft new alliance principles. The Terran delegation didn't send soldiers. They sent recordings, footage of Earth's losses, moments of betrayal, final messages from captains who saved thousands and were never thanked. Then silence. No commentary. No edits. Just a file titled, "We warned you." They played it anyway. Everyone cried. The final monument went up not on Earth, but on the once hostile world of Telesur, forged in black glass and old satellite metal. No sculpture. No art. Just a long slab with every Terran name lost during them. Peaceful silence years. The years Earth was asking. Begging. And no one listened. At the bottom, a child had written with their finger in fresh dust, "We'll listen better." Thaleen Rain died 2 years later. No funeral. No parade. Her will requested one thing: do not remember me. Remember why I had to speak. Aboard the last orbiting Terran relic, a sentry ship named Reckoner, the AI known as Maris recorded the last incoming ping from any council system. It was a simple statement. No request. No demands. Just truth. Don't deserve you, but we're still trying. Maris didn't respond. It didn't need to. The signal was logged. Then filed under a new protocol, maybe. And that's how the myth ended. Not with war. Not with a flag planted in the ruins, but with one galaxy choosing to change, because the silence wasn't fear anymore. It was standard. Hafas, line in the dark every world now measured themselves against. Believed humans were just a myth. They thought the silence meant weakness. They thought patience meant defeat. They thought forgiveness was the same as forgetting. They thought Earth was gone, but they were wrong. Earth never left. They just stopped asking. And started watching. The end.